Hey, Tiger fans. Ben Rosenbaum here with head gymnastics coach Jay Ramirez. Coach, thanks for taking some time for us this morning.
Well, thank you for setting this up.
So let's talk about the home opener the other day. 194, 225 as a team. Just your thoughts on how the team performed throughout that meet.
I always say we are a very young team and we're kind of like learning how to hit our stride. Last year, we hit it towards the end. I really feel like this team this year is sort of hitting it right now, which is nice. Of course, we've had some mistakes. We've counted two falls at the last meet, but that's something that we're just kind of learning of who's going in the lineup and who's coming out of the lineup. But as a whole, I think that we have been hitting it out of the park. The first meet that we had this year, it was the highest road season opener in Towson history. This meet that we just went to, we did get, in the 194s, which is huge. Last year, if we got this score, it would have been the highest home opening score in Towson history. However, because we shattered that record last year, we're trying to now break our own records, which is a really good thing to see. We did have 8 career highs, and it's only the second meet of the season, which is great. Cami Vidoff debuted her Yurchenko 1.5, which actually has never been done by a Towson gymnast ever. So that's a great 10-0 start value to really have that anchoring that vault spot. And she actually helped us get the highest home opening vault team score in Towson history. So again, lots of things to be proud of. We swept beam first, second, and third. Emerson got first on beam. Jenna and Allie got second and third respectively, and so that was another great highlight of this week.
Yeah, you mentioned the beam, so let's go to the beam. Obviously, Emerson in 9-8, but it also was a very solid performance from Jenna Wheats. I know Tandy Knight was very impressed with Jenna's performance. And what did you think you mentioned it, that you swept the beam 1, 2, 3, but from Jenna Wheats, what's the limit for her, or what's the potential for her? Obviously, we know Emerson Hurst is going to be Emerson Hurst, but talk to me a little bit about Jenna Wheats.
So Jenna is she's one of the most amazing athletes I've ever coached. I love working with her. I know Ashley loves working with her. She's always got the like, yes, I can attitude. Anything we throw at her, we're like, hey, let's try this. And she's, I always call her my little guinea pig. Because she'll try anything and we'll work with anything. So we did think that Jenna's score was a little low. I know I rewatched the meet and heard you guys commentating, and Tandy had texted all alumni and everything to see if the score was low. But we tell the girls all the time, it's not really the score that you're chasing. You're trying to beat yourself. So what you did last meet, the mistakes you made. How are we going to improve on the mistakes you made from last week? We cannot control what the judges see. We cannot control whether the judges take a half a tenth or a full tenth on something. So, in my personal opinion, did I think that the scores were a little low? Yes. I think it's fairly odd, especially with NC State being so strong on beam, that, a 9.8 was the winning score of the meet. That was a little crazy to us, but as we said, we look at the silver lining, we look at the placements, we look at whether they're beating themselves. And as long as they're beating themselves, we're on the right track.
And then looking at bars, 3 really strong performances, all scoring a 9.825. Sarah Giroux, Amy Stewart, and the previously mentioned Cami Vitoff. Bars is just one of those apparatuses it seems like you guys always thrive on.
It definitely has been a work in progress. Bars is all about those little tiny details of, hitting those handstands, sticking those landings, just keeping your legs together if it's on a release like Cami and Sarah Giroux's release. Even though Grace Valancourt didn't score as high as them, she was only 0.25 below them. That was a career high for her, which was great as well. But overall, we tell the girls all the time, if they do what they do in practice, we are definitely a 196 team. And so, I saw some pockets of that at this meet with the bar team, especially, just hitting those handstands, really focused on just making their routine and getting the dismount.
Talk to me a little bit more about Amy Stewart, someone who had an injury last year, and how far she's come and gotten ready to go this year.
Amy is definitely a rock star. Because of COVID, she had to do all of her PT pretty much while in isolation quarantine at her home when everybody got sent home last year. So she had her injury pretty, in the middle of season last year, and she was recovering and got surgery and everything. So, she did all of that on her own to come back stronger than ever. We always knew that we would have her on bars because her injury was not an injury that she really needed to, or she didn't need that body part as far as coming back on bars. But it was definitely a surprise with her coming back on floor. We definitely did change her tumbling passes. If you notice this year, she only does 2 tumbling passes. It's to save her Achilles. And then not only that, but she now does a forward pass. So she does a front layout, front Rudy, which is a 1.5 front twist. And that's a 3/10 bonus pass. So she does that, and then she ends with the double tuck. So we did that so that we could take the pressure off of those back tumbling passes for her. And she's just rocking it out. We've got some little tweaks to go for here and there, and we are working on an upgraded back pass. So she is working on a full in. We're hopefully, going to put that in by the end of season. So that's a full twisting double back, which is an E pass. So she's working hard too. And just the mental state that she's in while dealing with COVID and also trying to come back to gymnastics. And, I think that she just is a very, very stable person.
And so, Jay, a lot of stuff, really good stuff in that home meet, in that first home meet, a lot to build on. Moving into January 31st at Pitt, you talked about it a little bit, always trying to correct what we can control and what you guys can control. What's the focus now as you move forward to Pitt?
The focus this week is just basically trying to go 6 for 6, hitting 6 for 6, 24 for 24 routines. If we do that, then we are going to be when we do that, I should say, we're going to be in an amazing, position to actually win the meet and get even a higher score. What Ashley and I talk about all the time, we're almost glad that we didn't completely hit it out of the park with a 196 in the very beginning of the season, just because the team can see their strength build. They can see their momentum go. So every meet we're getting higher and higher and higher. And so, we really think that they're going to peak at the right time. We always tell them we have 5 different surfaces that we tumble on in the practice gym. And that's for a reason. They've got to be able to know where they are in the air for each one of those 5 surfaces. They need to be able to hit it on the right time at the first time so that we know when we get to a bouncy floor, we know how to control ourselves. If we get to a tight floor, we know how to get higher to actually land the tumbling passes. Same thing goes with bars. Pitt has a different set of bars than we do because our bars are attached to the ground. And I believe, I'm 90% sure that Pitt has, they're called water or sand bars. So they have their bars weighted down by water or sand, which makes the bars bouncier, which is different than what we train on. So the adaptability of the girls, especially on bars, is a really important.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking some time for us this morning, and good luck on the 31st. Fans, for more information on your Towson Gymnastics team, head over to towsontigers.com.